This is a very exciting moment for us. We've been quietly listening to Anderson East in the back room for a while now, waiting for the record label to say, yeah, you can play it. The new CD is coming out in July, I believe, actually July 15th on Atlantic, and it is going to be called Delilah. It's just an immense pleasure to have Anderson East and his band in the studio. Thanks for coming.
Thanks so much for having us.
So this is like, this is a long way from Athens, Alabama.
Yeah, I don't really know exactly. My geography's terrible, but I know we're not close.
It's so funny, when people talk about Alabama, the first thing you start thinking about is Muscle Shoals. And Athens is only about 50 miles away, but music really wasn't that big of a part of your early life around the house. It was pretty much church music.
Yeah, it was pretty much all there was, and it's what was playing on, pop radio and country radio. If that, my old man just listened to sports talk radio, and that was, Paul Feinbaum was a huge musical inspiration for me.
Your dad, your grandfather was a Baptist preacher.
Yeah.
And so there was, as you put it, there was a lot of preaching, praying, and piano playing around the house.
Yeah. My mom's a piano player in church all growing up. So, I kind of heard gospel music through that, and, I tried to tinker around with it, and all she could do is read sheet music. And so I was like, Mom, teach me how to play like a chord, because I was playing guitar at the time. She was like, I don't even know what a chord is. What are you talking about? So,
wow.
Yeah, it was a good learning experience for sure.
Yeah. Now your dad sang a little bit of gospel, right?
Yeah, he sang in the choir and all that stuff, and he's got a great voice, man. But he won't tell you that.
Yeah, well, he passed it along.
Oh, well,
your voice is
appreciate
just
it.
Tremendous.
Thank you so much.
The new CD that's going to be coming out is called Delilah. There's a 4-track EP from that is, I'm really excited. I actually have the physical EP in my hand. I was really glad to get that today from the band. And they're going to have that tonight down at the merch table at Knuckleheads as they open up for J.J. Gray. It's going to be a tremendous show, and we're going to give you a preview right now if we can get some music.
Awesome. Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
There's a girl in Shelbyville that gave her life to Jesus. First standing up at church where her daddy preaches. She's pretty as her mom. She's only 23. She could be an angel, Lord, 'cause she's bringing out the devil in me. Lord, forgive me for what I'm thinking. Saturday night, and I'm high, and I've been drinking. But come tomorrow morning, I'll cross the eye. I look over and see her smile. Bow my head, the choir sings. Oh, forgive me. She's bringing out the devil in me. Sundress on a willow tree, and the moon's on the water. I know the Lord's been good to me. Oh, and I look at that preacher's daughter, 'cause she's my Delilah. She brings me to my knees. She could be an angel, long 'cause she's bringing out the devil in me. Lord, forgive me for what I'm thinking. 'Cause it's Saturday night, and I'm high, and I've been drinking. But come tomorrow morning, I'll cross the aisle. see her smile. About my head, the choir sings. Lord, forgive me. She's bringing out the devil in me. Lord, forgive me for what I'm thinking. Oh, 'cause it's Saturday night and I'm high and I've been drinking. But come tomorrow morning across the aisle, I'll look over and see her smile. And about my head, the choir sings. Oh, Lord, forgive me. She's bringing out the devil in me. Lord, forgive me. She's bringing out the devil in me.
I just absolutely love that. Devil in Me, one of the tracks from the EP that is out right now, Delilah, with the full album of the same name coming out July 15th on Low Country Sound and Atlantic. Anderson East and the band in the studio, and you know, I always think it's interesting when that spark first gets lit, and it sure sounds like maybe seeing another kid in the neighborhood with a guitar when you were like 9 years old is the thing that did it for you.
Yeah, I actually had a buddy that his older brother had one. I was like, oh, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I bet girls will like this. But then, it just caught on, and that's the only thing that interests me from there on out. Still does.
Yeah, so you got the music or the girls?
Well,
Sorry.
we won't answer that, but yes.
Yeah. So you started trying to cover songs, and that really didn't interest you.
No, not at all. I couldn't. Everybody, growing up, could play like, Jimi Hendrix solos and learning Allman Brothers stuff, and I just didn't have the patience for it. I was, a kid of the ADD epidemic. So I was like, well, I can just write songs, and that'll, suffice. I really just wanted to record music. That's all I wanted to do. And you have to have songs to do that, apparently. So they tell me. So that's where it all got started.
So like 6th, 7th grade, first song, Brains.
How'd you know that?
Research, my friend.
Oh, my God.
Now, did that one
is
make the cut
wild.
on the new record? I haven't seen a track
No,
listing.
that one died at the 7th grade talent show.
Yeah? Now, did you also do Freebird at that talent show?
Yes. Oh, my Lord. We did
Yeah.
Freebird every show, and it was a great idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a crowd favorite.
It is. It is.
So does the band still do Freebird?
We were actually just listening to it in the van this afternoon.
That's great. Well, I have to ask about Brains because, I came across the fact that was the title of your first song, and I'm thinking to myself, so is this a zombie love song?
No,
or?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I'm trying to remember what the hook was. It had a hook, though. I know that, and it
Yeah.
was monstrous. It was anthemic. I have no idea what that song was about, but I do remember that.
Do you have a recording of it anywhere?
I'm sure my mom has a VHS cassette.
Do you have her phone number? We'll just have her play it over the phone.
I'm going to refuse to give it to you.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the singer, though. I wrote the song, and then my buddy Will Harger was the singer.
Ah,
And then we kind of traded roles in middle school. So
wow. That's spectacular. You talked a few minutes ago about how, music was like not really that easy to come by. And I got the feeling that when you did start to really get immersed into music, the fact that you'd had sort of a dearth of it earlier on made it all the more intoxicating and all the more exciting. And
yeah, everything was precious at that point,
and you're going from Led Zeppelin to Snoop Dogg to Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Actually, Ben Folds kind of made you decide you had to pick up the piano.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Wow, you know too much about me. This is frightening. Yeah, Ben Folds
Yeah.
was it. I was like, my buddy Theo gave me a record when we were in middle school or something like that, Rockin' the Suburbs. And I was like, that is cool. I want to learn how to do that. So that's where I started trying to get my mom to teach me how to play these songs, and she was very little help.
So if she was of no help, then how did you do it?
Kind of just by ear, you know, and you know, as Danny here can attest, I'm not that great of a piano player.
Well, you know, enough to get you by, though.
Yeah.
So, but you also had sort of a journey with the guitar too. You had a couple different people that taught you, and I thought it was kind of interesting because on the one hand, you had somebody that was basically teaching you sort of rock chops, and then another guy that was teaching you country at different points.
Well, sort of. I kind of had a guy named Mike Cole back when I was a kid. And
You
then-
referred to one as like redneck lessons.
Oh my God! How did you find all this stuff? I can't even remember that guy's name.
Yeah. And somebody was teaching you AC/DC songs.
Yeah, Mike Cole. That was it. You know,
Yeah.
trying to anything with a distortion pedal or a wah pedal. I was all about it.
But isn't that kind of, at the heart of your music? I mean, it's like, it's not rock, it's not country, it's not, it's an amalgamation.
Yeah, I think it. I don't really know what to really consider it all now. It's just everything, stewed together at some point, and hopefully it all comes out as listenable. I think that's the real thing we're all just shooting for, something honest and listenable.
Well, I think we just were, we get deluged with music. And when something, on the first play just sort of announces itself and you say, well, that's we've got to put that on the radio. I mean, it's pretty special, and that's how we feel about your music.
Well,
So
thank you so much.
at least from our standpoint, this is working.
That's incredibly kind of you.
And we'd love to hear some more.
Well, we'll do it. We'll play a song that we found down in Muscle Shoals by George Jackson and Rick Hall wrote this called "Find 'Em, Fool 'Em, Forget 'Em."
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
People, let me tell you about my father. You were known as the meanest and baddest lawmaker in town. He had a reputation for getting out with old women and for breaking their hearts and leaving them all crying. He told me, son, let me give you some advice. You gotta remember this for the rest of your life. He told me to find them and fool them and forget them. Remember the 4 F's. Find them and fool them and forget them. Hey, I didn't listen to what my father told me when I already gave my heart to you, girl. 'Cause you walked on it and misused it. And finally, you broke my heart in two. The way you treated me wouldn't even treat a dog. Wouldn't even show me no mercy at all. I wish I had found you. Fooled you and forgot you, like my father said. Find them and fool them and forget them. Yeah, I wish I found you and fooled you and forgot you. Yeah. Remember the 4 F's.
I enjoyed that so much it made my face hurt. I was over here smiling really big during that.
Awesome.
Anderson East is in the studio. Would you like to introduce your band?
I would love to. From Milwaukee, Wisconsin, over here, Mr. Danny Mitchell on the keyboards. We got the brothers Murray, John and Scott Murray from Yuma, Arizona, and the great Tommy Jules Perkinson over here on the drum set. Phenomenal individuals.
You know, it's just such a fun band to watch.
Oh yeah, this is as quiet I think as we've ever played.
You know, so you're in Athens, Alabama, and I'm guessing at some point you said that it was the only thing you ever wanted to do. So, you know, it's not exactly like the music industry is a big thing in a town of 21,000.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
So you felt like you had to go someplace.
Yeah, I was 17 and just split. I was moved right up to went to school in Murfreesboro because Mom was firm that I had to get an education. So I bet that was the closest thing you could go to learn how to engineer music. So I was like, that sounds like college to me. So that's what we did. And then moved to Nashville about 2 years later.
There's a phrase that you used in an interview that I found, must be present to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a songwriting teacher in college who kept saying that. And I was like, well, damn, apparently I'm not present, so I'm out of here.
That is so funny. So you get to Nashville, and, you know, I'm thinking that everybody that you pass on the street is a songwriter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, you know, the competition, I mean, if you can come out of that a winner, you've been forged in some pretty hot fires.
I would guess so. I mean, it all kind of feels natural. I mean, looking back on it, there's some silly things you do and, you know, things that are not the most glamorous, but when you're, you know, young and going for it, I didn't know any better. So it was like, well, I'm going to go play down at the Holiday Inn Commodore Bar. And, you know, it's like, that sounds awesome. People are going to hear me play killer. You know, so it was just years and years of that kind of thing. And I'm super grateful for all of it.
Well, you know, you're on the eve of your first major label release. And so, you know, researching for this interview wasn't the easiest thing, but I did find a performance from Mountain Stage where you were playing with Holly Williams.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was really compelling stuff. So, you know, you obviously made some good relationships along the way, met some people and did some things.
Yeah, absolutely. I got asked to open for her CD release show, and her husband at the time was playing. Well, he's still her husband, but at the time as well, and he was playing in a big rock band, and so he wasn't able to make all the shows playing with her. So she's like, "Well, can you sing harmonies?" I was like, as poor as I am, I can do anything. So I did that gig playing guitar and singing harmonies.
Way to sell yourself.
Yeah. Well, hey, I didn't tell her that, but that's what I said in my mind. So, but yeah, we did that gig for a long time, and she let me open all the shows for her on a bunch of tours and went to Europe and all that good stuff. So yeah, there was, you know, a lot of instances like that. And then, you know, we all kind of met doing session work, me engineering and everybody else playing. And then it's like, all right, we'll just bring the boys out.
Yeah. Now you actually did an earlier album independently, which I think is probably going to be a massive collector's item at some point because it's, you know, when you sign a major label, a lot of times those early things have a tendency to disappear.
Yeah. If anybody robs my house, I got a closet full of them.
You did an album in L.A., but the odd thing is, you know, after you got done with the recording sessions, you went back to Nashville and sort of took on an unexpected second life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just, you know, I think everything's a growing process, and that was the first time to make a, you know, real record, and you know, there was great parts about it, and then parts I wasn't that happy with, and you know, the ego gets in the way of a lot of things too, and so I was like, well, I can redo this, and it just turned into this enormous amalgamation of work and effort and sweat that, you know, ultimately I was like, okay, we'll just put this out now. But, you know, it was, you know, nothing else, a huge learning process, and there's parts of it that I'm still really proud of.
It sounds like the second record almost thematically was an answer to the first one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think song-wise as well was, you know, a lot of the growth of it, of coming out of that kind of thing, and then also too, just being able to shut the hell up and just sing, show up for your part of the job. You know, I feel like, going back to as a kid, all I ever wanted to do was make records. So that's what my whole life has been, and all kind of things. So I've tried to be, the race car driver and the pit crew for so long, and that, you can't ever do it all. And so, meeting up with like Dave Cobb and, just being like, you take it from here. I'm just going
Right.
to show up for my part.
Well, and that's the interesting thing, because you talk about all you want to do is go and make those records. You want to be in the studio, and you go out and you become a studio rat in a way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, me and Scotty over here playing guitar, we started a studio in Nashville, and that's what we've done for the past couple of years now.
So now your first major label release, and you do turn it over to Dave Cobb. And for people who may not be familiar, he probably most notably recently was responsible for Jason Isbell's Southeastern, and I believe he's doing the next one right
Yeah,
now.
they just finished that one.
And Sturgill Simpson, that's turned
Yeah.
out to be a huge record.
Yeah, we were on the road with Sturgill for a while.
So to be in the studio with him, he's as hot as it gets in your type of music.
Yeah, man, he's one of my closest friends too. We all live like about a block away from each other, and it's just been a match made in heaven.
So the process, the writing process, do you do that in the studio?
Not really. I mean, if there's something that's like we have to have it right now, we'll kind of come up with something on the fly. But mainly, it's just a good roadmap, and then we don't do any kind of pre-production or anything like that. It's just get everybody in a room and just see what comes out, and it's natural, and everybody's playing live, and we're just humans with instruments at that point.
So, I think that the really interesting thing is I'm guessing that you did the record first, and then somebody had the idea, let's take the band down to Muscle Shoals.
Yeah.
And really, it's just a way, it's like a calling card. It's like a hello, my name is.
Yeah,
but there's
absolutely.
a 5-track live thing that you cut at the Fame studio where really basically Muscle Shoals sound started.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of your heroes, Wilson Pickett.
Oh, yeah. It was frightening to be standing there and just like, all right, this is where all this went down, so it's time to bring out the heavy machinery here. So it was amazing. Like we grew up right down the street from there, and, kind of always heard about it, but never got the chance to make any music in there. So it was a real treat and an honor to get to do it.
Is there anything that surprised you about it? I mean, how is it, has it been updated, or is it still kind of the same thing that it was?
It's still kind of the same, There's some ghosts in the machinery, and still smells a little weird, and but it's man, it's the vibe. Like you feel like you've come to Mecca. Like it was great experience.
So that music's out there, and there are a couple of videos from that session that you can find online. Easiest way to find that is just go to AndersonEast.com. Anderson East, our guest today in the studio, opening tonight for J.J. Gray and Mofro over at Knucklehead's Garage. It is going to be a spectacular night of music, and there is an EP out that you'll be able to pick up at the merch table. The full album, Delilah, July 15th on Low Country Sound and Atlantic. We'd love one more song if we could get it from
You
you.
got it. Thanks so much for having us, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, John.
I said the finest brandy smelled the sweetest perfume, and I kissed the softest lip even they wouldn't do. And I drove Autobahn in a coupe field. That clown Kilimanjaro, and it was just too easy. That's gonna take long to satisfy me. Satisfy me. Now listen here, babe, you're just as fine as they come. But you're a selfish little lover. You're hot and cold, hit and run. Oh, got a PhD in TLC, and there's so many fish in the sea.
That was just about as much fun as I can imagine having. Anderson East in the studio on the bridge. Thanks so much for coming in.
Man, thanks so much for having us. It's been a real treat.
It's been fun. Going to see you tonight at Knuckleheads. The new album, Delilah, is July 15th, but you can get the EP tonight at the merch table. Anderson East and the band on the bridge.
Thanks, sir.